Hello, welcome back to Talks Fandom, where, as you can notice, I just got a new set. It's like a miniature version of the Dead Meat set. So, we don't have enough time to delay, mostly because of a very tight schedule because of homework. Being in school sucks, I know. Drop those in the comments. Anyway, today I've received news that How to Train Your Dragon is getting a live-action remake. And, realizing that they're making a live-action remake of one of my favorite animated movies that I grew up with so much, in fact, I got my dad to make myself a custom Hiccup shield, is news to me, to say the least. So, today I've decided to make a list of animated movies that should never be remade into live action. These movies can never be remade into live action for a majority of reasons that I'll get into really soon. But before we do that, I just want to say thank you guys for what's been happening with my Pokemon Nuzlocke series. Because I've realized that a lot of people watch those. For example, my first Nuzlocke video has about 34 views on YouTube. And I only have 16 subscribers. I wonder why those numbers are so unmatched. Like and subscribe. Okay, anyway, now let's get into the video. The first movie that I think should never be remade into live action is Bambi. And we all know why it should never be remade into live action. Because we don't want to relive through the same childhood trauma that we went through when the first Bambi came out. And we don't want to introduce this trauma to a new generation of small children that have no idea what the meaning of death is. Yay! Disney's family friendly. To be honest, between this, Marcy getting stabbed in Amphibia, and all of the pressure-based imagery in Encanto, Disney's getting way dark. Moving on, another reason why I think this should never get remade is solely because that with the Lion King live-action remake, we realized what Disney could do with live-action animated talking animals, and it was bad. Swear to God, live-action Rafiki gave me nightmares for a week. So those are my reasons for why Bambi should be remade into live action. Our next animated movie that should never be remade into live action is a fan favorite. You know him, you love him, you've seen the memes of him countless times on the internet, no matter how many times you tried to avoid them. It's Shrek. To be honest, I shouldn't really explain the plot of Shrek because we've all seen it at least once. Or in my case, during 4th grade, during indoor recess, we've seen it at least 5 times in a row, causing All-Star by Smash Mouth to get stuck in my head, even though I was about 6 at the time. Okay, moving on. The first reason why I don't want Shrek to be remade into live action is because it would just look super horrifying and nightmare-inducing. To be honest, if I had the editing tools, I would put why I think Shrek would look like in live action. But I think Popcross Studios has already done that in their animated characters as monsters video. One of them, exactly. Anyway, moving on. Another reason why is because the original Shrek is so beloved and well known that it would be kind of cheap to make a live action remake out of it. I mean, the original Shrek and its sequels, and even its spin-offs, like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, are all very, very well known. In fact, some people online are even claiming that The Last Wish might win the Oscar for best animated picture, which I gotta say is saying something about the cartoon about a cat who literally wears boots that, according to MatPat, would cause him to die. And another reason why is that, besides being horrifying and it not being good for nostalgia, is because that it wouldn't be a really smart decision business-wise, because, again, these characters are very well known. You don't need to reintroduce them to a new audience because everybody knows who they are now. So it wouldn't really make sense for Shrek to be remade. And my third is Princess and the Frog. Now, Princess and the Frog is pretty good. I mean, there's this I mean, there's a Shadow Man with so much sass that they got Keith David to voice him, for God's sake. I mean, as in God's sake, I mean the Shadow God's sake. So one of my reasons why they should make Princess and the Frog into live action is because, again, it would look really weird to make talking animated frogs, crocodiles, and fireflies. And fireflies are kind of bugs, and that would look really creepy in live action, just to see a firefly going around. Hey man, my wife got turned into a star. Now I am going to light up my path. Sorry, I got fireflies confused with mosquitoes for a second, which is also horrifying to think about. I swear, I am not trying to purposely make myself laugh. This is just ridiculous to think about. Another reason why is because I just really like the original Princess and the Frog, and I don't really think that they should remake it. I mean, they've already done Cinderella in live action, Beauty and the Beast with Hermione Granger from Harry Potter, and if rumors are to be believed, they're making Hercules into live action, which me and my dad are absolutely ecstatic about. Quick side note, Hercules is one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. 10 out of 10. I mean, this guy got a talking goat. I mean, no matter how many mythological inaccuracies that I found out after reading the entire Percy Jackson series twice, it's still pretty good. Back to the subject matter, though. The Princess and the Frog would also be kind of hard to make, considering the movie takes place in New Orleans. And New Orleans has been ravaged with hurricanes and floods for the past few years, since the year that shall not be named, 2020, so filming there would be a real hassle. But I know they could just record somewhere else, but it's kind of hard to get that New Orleans style vibe from anywhere else in the US. Plus the entire South Coast is being destroyed by hurricanes and floods as we speak, so kind of not liking a live action Princess and the Frog's chances here. My fourth animated movie is, this is kind of a surprise here, Treasure Planet. And I know what you're saying, Treasure Planet is a really good movie that would do great in live action, but I agree to disagree. You see, Treasure Planet takes place in space, and space is hard to make. And there's a bunch of bug things, and I said this with Princess and the Frog, it's hard to do that. Also, Treasure Planet flopped so hard the first time that it literally killed Disney, along with Home on the Range. It literally killed Disney for a solid 10 years. I mean, the movie's got to be bad in order to do that. I mean, Disney is an animated powerhouse. I mean, also going on in the early 2000s was a bunch of stuff on Disney Channel, but mostly it was that. That was the thing that killed Disney in the early 2000s, and I don't think they want to risk it doing again, since we're kind of in a second Disney renaissance with Encanto being released, and Strange World simultaneously creating itself and destroying itself. And Treasure Planet would probably be really expensive to make, because as we see with stuff like Star Wars, The Mandalorian, which Season 3 just dropped today, well, a few days ago. Technically, am I so out of touch? Simpsons memes aside, it is really hard to make these things. I mean, The Mandalorian had to make mostly real-life sets, and they had to add the CGI in later. And I couldn't believe how they had to animate an entire planet as we see wide shots of it, not just on the surface level shots of it, which you could easily do in the real world. You can't animate an entire flippin' planet without losing a lot of money. And Disney wants to make money and save money. So that's why Treasure Planet would probably be a dud. And for my final animated movie that should never, ever, ever, ever be remade into live action, this movie should never be remade into live action, and that is Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. Now, You're probably confused about that because it's probably already been announced by now. I should probably check. If editor me, if it's been announced, put it right here. Anyway, the entire movie was Disney's first full-fledged animated feature, and the first full-length animated feature too. So remaking it would probably be solely for the nostalgia trip. And Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is the movie that started it all. And doing it again is probably a bad idea when you could come up with original stories in this decade. I mean, with 2020, we're entering, with the 2020 year behind us, we're entering a new era of Disney movies and cartoons with stuff like Owl House and Amphibia dominating on Disney Plus and Disney Channel. And with anime movies like Encanto getting Bruno stuck in my head no matter how many times Luca tells me not to. I just think that doing an old movie, their first movie, would be such a bad idea that might kill Disney like Treasure Planet and Home on the Range did. And I talked about that in the last one. So here you have it. 5 Disney animated movies that should never be made into live action. All I want to know now is that How to Train Your Dragon live action movie going to be good? I mean, seriously, how are you going to make an animated dragon that has no teeth? What's Toothless going to look like? Who's going to be casting as Hiccup? How are they going to show his leg getting burned off, by the way? Sorry. I've been watching How to Train Your Dragon since I was 4, so a lot of stuff going on for me. And thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and ring the bell to get notified when I post the next video on Saturday, because trust me, I will. Bye!